All right, so we're about to glaze our pot. Now it's all bisqued, ready to go. Now the first step I did, I wiped it off. Very important. Now I use shellac resist, so there was a lot of residue, or not a lot, but there was some residue of the shellac burning off. It was like fine powder on top of the pot, so I had to wash that off pretty good with a sponge and water. And then I had to wipe off the sponge, because you'll be amazed at how rough these pots are on your sponges, on your brushes, on your hands, on your nails. So first step, wash it, give it a good rinse, and inside too, because we're going to be glazing the inside. And the next step, the one that you're going to see me do, I'm going to go ahead and wax the bottom. I really do prefer to do wax. I don't fire an awful lot, so the wax, if you fire a lot and you have a lot of wax, it will damage the elements of your kiln. It just gets a buildup on the elements, so you don't want to do it too much. But for me, I don't fire that much. I'm just a hobbyist, so I am going to put glaze on the bottom because I really like a very clean edge, and I'm going to be doing it with the very expensive piece of equipment called the foam brush. I love this thing. The best thing about it is the chisel. Look at that. Let me tell you, there's not a sharp part on my body, but on my brush, it's sharp. Okay, when I'm glazing and I'm trying to keep a nice straight edge, I'm using the brush's edge. Do you see that edge? It's pretty sharp. It's a thick brush. It carries a lot of glaze, but it keeps it and loads it up towards the ferrule and not towards the tip. So what you're going to do, you're going to use that tip. Now, not only do I go like this, I certainly don't go like this. My arm isn't way out in the air. It's locked down to my side. Sometimes the forearm is locked to my side. And I might even move the pot with the other hand, not with this hand. This stays nice and straight as I'm doing it. So it just sets yourself up for success. And that's what you do. You use the brush, and you use your body. Your body's a lot harder, at least it is for me. Your body's a lot harder to move than your arm. It's going to move out and it's going to make a jagged edge. So brush, body. All right, I also want to talk about when we're glazing, and I'm not dipping it, I'm using a brush on glaze. And maybe I've used this glaze like a month or so ago. You can see the rim. I didn't clean it off the last time I used it, so there's a lot of pieces of crumbly glaze that is all around the edge. So when I take that top off, sometimes it gets inside, and when I'm brushing, sometimes it gets on the pot. You don't want that. I'm trying to see if I have a piece of it. If you get a dry piece of glaze, let's see. If you get a dry piece of glaze, say like that, you are going to get that off and not use it. You don't want to leave a piece of dry glaze on your wet glaze before it dries, because it will probably glaze like that. It's not going to melt into it, at least not in my experience. So and also that's why I try not to wipe it across the edge when I'm glazing, because you'll pick up little pieces and that's how it gets on. So what I usually do, or I try to do, is I try to tap it off nice and loaded. Look at that, it's beautiful. And then I go right to the pot and it goes on nice and easy. Oh my gosh, it's lovely. So don't wipe. You could pick up dry pieces, or unlike me, wipe off after you're all done glazing and set it up on the shelf for the next time, and you'll be ready to go. All right, I've talked before about brushes. Let's talk just about fan brushes. Now I use only a fan brush when I'm putting on glaze, because it's what's recommended, and it really does just a great smooth job The reason being, it's full through here. This is wet. It's full through here, and then it thins out right there. So what it does, it captures the glaze, and then it releases it down from the ferrule, down through the bristles, and lays it on nice and smoothly. I really highly recommend these. Now I want to show you, this is one that I don't highly recommend. And it's not just because of the size, because I have good fan brushes that are thick, like the Amico ones. This one is just a no-name brand, but I want you to see how thin it is. And if it was wet, it'd even be thinner. I want you to see how much, you can see my finger, the shadow. Let's look. You can almost see, oh, there it is. Big difference, big difference. And you'll see that difference in the way it holds way more glaze. It does it far more smoother, and it's worth your time and your money.